Does company socio-political activism influence company performance financially? That's what the topic of my presentation is going to be today. My name is Grant Bozem. I'm doing this for Professor Yao's Marketing 480 class. It's a wonderful class called Marketing Analytics. I recommend you guys all take it. And I also recommend you listen here to this link from the AMA. I have it posted right over here. It's very informative about how companies' socio-political activism and advertising campaigns influence company performance financially. So first of all, what is corporate socio-political activism? So first, there's an image of Colin Kaepernick right here with a Nike ad. This was a very prominent ad and it was very controversial, but it ultimately made Nike a lot of money. So many companies have recently come forward advocating various causes such as supporting Black Lives Matter, advocating for gender and sexual acceptance, and many more causes that show they are companies who care about issues and have a personality besides just making a product. Some recent examples are Nike releasing a Colin Kaepernick advertisement after he kneeled during the national anthem to support Black men who had been shot by police. Doritos releasing a rainbow-themed chip during Pride Month to show they support LGBTQ rights. Ben and Jerry's releasing statements condemning police brutality in the case of George Floyd most recently. These are all examples of corporate socio-political activism where they take a side on a controversial issue. Why do they do it? Companies used to stay silent on controversial social issues in the past, trying to avoid these polarizing topics and instead focusing on profits. As you can see here, this is Doritos, this is the rainbow-themed Whopper. It's a similar kind of concept to the Doritos themed chip. However, now many of them are running advertising campaigns featuring support for LGBTQ communities, condemning police brutality, taking a stand against mass shootings. Well, some argue that companies follow societal lines, and as a society, we have grown more progressive and open about talking about our issues and what we care about. Many others argue that this is a way to build brand presence, a caring company, and even more importantly, to be profitable. So what is the expectation of relationship between people and companies, and how has it changed? People used to require corporations to make a good product at a decent price, but now many customers expect much more of their companies. People want companies that advocate for the cause they support, and over 60% of people have said that they won't buy from a company that they don't support ethically. And with younger generations, such as me, it's much higher. Less than 20% of chief marketing officers support this transition from profitable and product-oriented companies to companies now politically active. However, 80% of them believe that this will make the company more profitable in the end, that the brand has a positive image and is perceived as an activist company. So, an interesting thing is what happens to the stock price of a company when engaged in corporate social responsibility. This is the short-term cost of engaging in a corporate social responsibility-oriented thing. This is also known as corporate socio-political activism or a politically charged advertising. When firms engage in these controversial advertising campaigns, other than which donations for social issues are donated to charity, Wall Street views it as risky. They view it as a waste of corporate money because they could be using that money to invest in things that would grow profit and make the company more profitable, not make it a more ethical or caring company. Stock prices often decline a small fraction that results in a reduction of their company's fraction ranging from hundreds of thousands of dollars for small companies to billions of dollars for large companies. So this is a short-term cost of having a corporate socio-political responsibility advertising campaign, or political advertising for short. This is a short-term cost, but this is the stock price. So if firms have a corporate social responsibility-oriented message that concurs with what its customers support and believe, there's a mild increase in stock price. However, the downside is if the firm's corporate social responsibility or advertising does not resonate with its customers' values, sales have a significant decrease in their stock price. However, longer-term trends show a much different story. Corporate social responsibility's effect on customer purchasing habits and long-term stock price is this topic right now. This effect appears to be inversed here, and if you have a CSR approach that resonates with your customers, employees, and local government, sales will grow at a higher percentage than the sales lost if customers don't agree with the CSR strategy. So with Nike, they did lose a few people, and they did burn their Nikes. But they made a ton more money with more reliable customers who now believe that Nike's a caring company, and they grew a lot of support from new customers who agree with this message. Part of this is because boycotts, which is when people don't buy from a corporation because of moral or ethical issues, don't last as long as boycotts. And boycotts are the inverse, when people buy from a company in support of their policies. So here's a few equations on the corporate social responsibility on company metrics. Short-term cost of making a political advertisement. Sales Y equals B0, company's worth before CSR, minus B1, reduction in percentage of stock price. So basically, most of the time, companies are going to have a slight reduction in stock price after doing this originally. So this usually will be a negative. This usually will, the B1 and the company after will usually be less valuable than the company before, or the B0, which is your base or the way to compare it against. Long-term cost is sales Y equals B0, company sales before CSR statement, plus B1, new and existing customers who increase their shopping in support of CSR campaign, minus B2, customers lost because the CSR does not resonate with their beliefs. How to calculate effects of sales from CSR on SPSS. Employ a dummy variable to see if CSR was even used by this company. 1 for yes, 0 for no. How you do this, you click on transform, compute variable, if there was none for CSR already used, and basically recode into different, you make a new dummy variable, 1 for yes, 0 for no, or you could recode into different variables to see if CSR was used, maybe if it's a 1 and a 2, and go in 0 and a 1. See if a variable for CSR was used but not formatted in zeros and ones. You click data, select cases. If condition is satisfied, type in CSR equals 1, and all cases that don't employ CSR be crossed out. From there we could compute how much the increase in sales was, or how much our sales was after the CSR was employed. And then we could do the same exact thing with click data, select cases if satisfied is. We could do CSR equals 0 and compare the sales. If we run this over and over again, we will find an increase or decrease in whether or not sales have been impacted from CSR on our SPSS. We then click Analyze, Regression, Linear, and type in sales as a dependent factor and choose CSR or whether or not CSR was employed as an independent factor. A R-squared or regression squared table will then pop up in our output window, and we can see how much CSR influences sales by how close it is to 1 on the R-squared. If it's close to 0, CSR and the advertising campaigns don't impact sales very often. But what we're much more likely to find is it's going to be much higher, close to 1, not exactly 1, but it's going to be probably better than 0.5%. It's going to be somewhat related. This is the effect of regression. This is the end of my performance. Thank you very much. My PowerPoint and I guess my performance. And thank you. I've had a wonderful semester.